Hello again. This is Dan Brock, Principal at Branchbird, returning to our Screencast series around the new Endeca extensions for Oracle EBS. Today I wanted to take a couple minutes and showcase just how easy it is to tailor your new Endeca pages to meet your specific end user needs. The front end of the Endeca product, or the Studio tier, was built purposefully to be highly configurable, allowing for applications that could be composed in minutes instead of days. And the EBS integration of Endeca really kept this composability and configurability at the forefront. That is, if you know what you're doing. So I'd just like to quickly showcase what I mean by this configurability. So I'm going to actually pivot over here to my EBS instance running locally. Again, I have 3 VMs running here on my machine, one for the database, one for the EBS application tier, and one which is mimicking the lightweight VM, or it could be Exalytics machine depending on your data demands, but the Endeca server tier. So here I have my EBS login page. I'm logging as the operations user, and for demonstration purposes I'm just going to go to my iProcurement page. And you can see with the new Endeca integration, the new Endeca extensions, I now have all of my local catalog data brought to me with fully featured search, as well as guided navigation to help me slice and dice the products that I can procure in my organization. One thing you might notice different compared to maybe the Oracle Endeca extensions you have running locally, or even from my last Screencast series, is that I now actually have the ability to come in and change the configuration of these different components that have been dragged onto the page. And I'll actually take a step back and show you how I accomplished that, because before I couldn't do that. If I actually log into the Endeca Studio tier directly as, and this is going into Studio kind of through the back door, so to speak, as the administrator, I could show you that from the control panel, if I find my operations user, so for every user created in my EBS system, there will be a copy of that user in my Endeca database, or my Endeca Studio configuration database. And if we look at this user closely, we can see that I've already associated this particular user to the administration role. So this wasn't here before. Because this user is now quote-unquote an administrator, when I log in, I get this extra power user capability to impact the configuration of each component, or again, the same dock, same control panel, I can add new pages to, new components to my existing pages. So this is exactly how you go about tailoring the experience for your end users once you get the out-of-the-box Endeca extensions and Endeca pages. So one thing I thought might be nice to do for my iProcurement homepage is actually call out, as I slice and dice my products, how many products do I have remaining in context? It isn't necessarily clear to me as I'm just looking at this result list as I make refinements or search through my catalog. Certainly I can look at that down here, but that really doesn't draw attention to my eye, and I wouldn't really expect every end user to understand that. So what I can do is actually add a component here, and in this case I'm going to add a metrics bar. It's as easy as finding it and dragging it onto the page where you want it to go, and then doing a little bit of configuration with the component. So in this case I need to pick the data source, which is actually going to point this particular component, this particular portlet, at the right, what we call Endeca server data domain. In this case I want my iProcurement items. In other Screencast series I might go into a little bit more about how we set up these data sources and why, but really all I'm trying to do here is specify an EQL query, and that stands for the Endeca query language. The Endeca query language is like SQL, and it provides the opportunity to specify what summarizations and calculations you'd like to see on top of the raw result set. So it almost ends up returning a secondary result set with those summarizations. And really all I'm going to do here is just type a very simple, straightforward calculation, which is going to give me a count of all my products. It's as simple as that. I'll test my query, load it into the metrics bar that I will see. Go ahead and change that display name to items. I want it to be formatted as an integer, and I'm going to return to my page. So voila, now it agrees with the count of items I have showing in my result table, and as I slice and dice my data, it will update, always bringing to the fore for the end user the number of items that they have in context. So maybe not the exact configuration you need to change to satisfy the needs of your end users, but again, a highly configurable and composable application once you enable your EBS administrators to become Endeca power users or Endeca administrators. So I thank you for your time, and we look forward to sharing more detail and goodness about the Endeca extensions integration for EBS. Thank you.